There's a system built inside you that's sabotaging your success, and you didn't even put it there. Be careful from now on. Once you watch this video, you'll never trust yourself the same way again. You're not tired, you're trapped. Not by your boss, not by your bills, but by your own thinking. And the worst part, you think it's your fault. But what if I told you it's not you? The real enemy is hiding inside, and it's wearing your voice. It's your brain. It has told you to stay poor, to stay busy, and to call it ambition. You don't have a motivation problem. You don't need more discipline. You need a new brain. The one you're using right now, it's been trained to keep you stuck, small, and safe. And until you uninstall the belief system that's running your life, you're just a smart person living a stupid story. There's a reason why 97% of people stay powerless their entire lives. It's not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity. It's because they're running on corrupted software. Mental programming installed by a society that profits from your weakness. But what if I told you there's a way to completely rewrite your mind's operating system? What if the most feared strategist in history left behind a psychological blueprint that could make you untouchable? Before we dive into these 7 mind-bending beliefs that will fundamentally alter how you see power, hit that subscribe button. Because once you understand what I'm about to reveal, you'll never look at human behavior the same way again. Meet Niccolò Machiavelli, the man who terrified kings and inspired dictators. While everyone else was playing checkers, he was playing 4D chess with human psychology. His strategies were so effective, so psychologically devastating, that his name became synonymous with cunning itself. But here's what they don't teach you in school. Machiavelli didn't just write about power. He reverse-engineered the human mind and discovered something shocking. Most people are programmed to lose before they even start playing the game. Right now, as you're watching this, your brain is running on default settings that make you seek approval instead of respect, avoid conflict instead of leveraging it, react emotionally instead of calculating strategically, and chase connection instead of creating leverage. But what if I told you that every single one of these virtues is actually a prison? What if kindness, patience, and honesty, the things you've been taught to value, are actually keeping you weak, predictable, and easily manipulated? Drop a comment right now. Do you feel like you're living someone else's script? Because if you do, you're about to discover why. Belief number 1, emotions are data, not commands. Here's your first wake-up call. You've been emotionally hijacked your entire life. Every time you get angry and lash out, every time you feel hurt and withdraw, every time jealousy makes you act desperate, you're not being authentic, you're being controlled. Machiavelli understood something that modern psychology is just catching up to. Emotions are information, not instructions. Your fear isn't telling you to run. It's showing you where your power ends. Your anger isn't demanding revenge. It's highlighting exactly where someone crossed your boundaries. But here's where it gets dangerous. Most people let emotions drive the car. They make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. But a Machiavellian treats emotions like weather reports. You check the forecast, you prepare accordingly, but you don't cancel the mission because of rain. Think about the last time someone made you angry. What did you do? Did you react immediately? Or did you pause and ask yourself, what is this person trying to get me to feel and why? This shift alone will change your life. Because the moment you stop being an emotional slave, you become an emotional strategist. You start asking better questions. What does this feeling tell me about the situation? How can I use this information to my advantage? What would someone who can't be manipulated do right now? Comment below. What's one emotion that consistently gets you in trouble? Let's see if others relate to your struggle. Belief number 2, power hides in perception. Here's a truth that will shatter your worldview. Reality doesn't matter. Perception is everything. You could be the smartest person in the room, but if people perceive you as weak, they'll treat you like you're disposable. You could be struggling internally, but if you appear unshakable, others will hesitate before crossing you. Machiavelli knew this centuries ago. He wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are." This isn't about being fake, it's about being strategic with your image. Watch this psychological experiment in action. A silent person is perceived as wise. A calm reaction is mistaken for inner strength. A mysterious smile makes people wonder what you know that they don't. But here's where most people get this completely wrong, and it's costing them everything. They try to prove their power instead of implying it. They explain their worth instead of letting others discover it. They defend their position instead of making others question theirs. The Machiavellian never proves, he implies. He never defends, he redirects. He never explains, he creates curiosity. Imagine someone insults you in front of others. The average person defends themselves, explains why the insult is wrong, gets emotional. But watch what happens when you simply pause, smile slightly, and say, "Interesting, why are you so focused on me right now?" Suddenly the entire room is watching them, not you. You flip the script without throwing a single punch. I want you to comment about a time when staying silent gave you more power than speaking up. Let's see how many of you have accidentally discovered this principle. Belief number 3, control the frame, control the game. Every conversation you have, every conflict you face, every relationship you enter, they all operate on invisible rules. But here's the secret. Someone is always setting those rules. The question is it you or is it them? Most people walk into situations and immediately try to figure out how to fit in. They read the room and adjust their behavior accordingly. But Machiavelli taught us something different. Don't read the room, rewrite it. And I'm about to show you exactly how to do this. But first, let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. When was the last time you entered a conversation and everyone else had to adjust to your energy instead of the other way around? When was the last time you set the tone instead of following it? Here's how frame control works in real life. Someone tries to put you on the defensive. Weak response? That's not true, let me explain. Machiavellian response. Why do you need me to be wrong about this? Someone interrupts you. Weak response. Stop talking, let them take over. Machiavellian response. Continue speaking but slower and quieter. They'll have to stop to hear you. Someone tries to rush your decision. Weak response. Make a quick choice to avoid conflict. Machiavellian response. I'm curious why you need an answer so quickly. What aren't you telling me? Notice what's happening in each example. You're not defending your position. You're questioning theirs. You're not explaining yourself. You're making them explain themselves. If you're starting to see how deep this rabbit hole goes, make sure you're subscribed because we're just getting started. And what's coming next is going to blow your mind. Belief 4. Connection is a tool, not a crutch. This is where most people will hate what I'm about to say, but it needs to be said. Your relationships are keeping you weak, not because relationships are bad, but because you're approaching them all wrong. You've been taught to see connections as emotional sanctuaries, as places where you can be vulnerable and authentic. But Machiavelli saw something different. Every relationship is a power exchange. And here's the part that's going to make you question everything you thought you knew about love, friendship, and loyalty. Most people enter relationships as beggars. They're seeking validation, comfort, or meaning from others. They become emotionally dependent, which means they become emotionally controllable. But a Machiavellian enters relationships as an architect. He's not looking for what he can get. He's calculating what he can build. He's not seeking dependency. He's creating leverage. Before you get angry and comment about how this sounds sociopathic, let me ask you, how many of your relationships make you stronger versus how many make you weaker? Be honest in the comments. Let me show you what I mean. Emotional dependency looks like needing constant reassurance from your partner, feeling anxious when friends don't text back immediately, staying in toxic relationships because you're afraid to be alone, and giving advice to people who never change because you need to feel needed. Emotional leverage looks like being the person others come to for wisdom, maintaining relationships that sharpen your skills and expand your influence, knowing when to withdraw your energy from people who drain it, and creating such value that others naturally want to stay connected to you. Here's the difference. Emotional dependency makes you reactive to other people's moods and decisions. Emotional leverage makes you attractive to people who can help you grow. But here's the key insight that most people miss. Belief number 5. Isolation is reinforcement, not weakness. Society has convinced you that being alone is a problem to be solved. If you're not constantly busy, constantly social, constantly connected, something must be wrong with you. But Machiavelli understood something profound. Real power is forged in solitude. And I'm about to reveal why your addiction to constant stimulation is actually keeping you mentally weak. Most people are terrified of their own thoughts. That's why they fill every moment with noise, social media, music, conversations, TV, anything to avoid the silence inside their own heads. But here's what they don't realize. That silence is where strategy is born. While everyone else is caught in the dopamine cycle of scrolling, comparing, and reacting, the Machiavellian mind is doing something else entirely. Sharpening focus without the distraction of other people's opinions, developing patience by learning to sit with discomfort, calculating moves without having to explain them to anyone, and building emotional resilience by not needing constant external validation. Comment below. How many hours can you sit in complete silence without reaching for your phone? Your answer will reveal how much control you really have over your own mind. But here's where it gets really interesting. Machiavellians don't just use isolation for self-improvement, they use it as a weapon. Strategic withdrawal creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. When you're always available, always responding, always present, you become common. When you strategically disappear, people start wondering where you went. They start missing your input. They start questioning why you're not chasing their attention like everyone else. Think about it. Who has more power in your relationships? The person who's always there, or the person who shows up when it matters most? Belief number 6. Morality is movable. Here's where most people will want to stop watching, but this is where the real transformation begins. You've been taught that morality is a fixed code, that there are universal rights and wrongs that apply to every situation. But Machiavelli knew something that modern society tries to hide from you. Rigid morality is a luxury that only the powerless can afford. Before you click away, let me be clear. This isn't about becoming evil. This is about becoming adaptive. This is about understanding that context matters more than absolute rules. Here's how your fixed morality is being weaponized against you. You tell the truth even when it hurts your mission. You play fair even when others are cheating. You keep promises even when circumstances have completely changed. You avoid manipulation even when influence could solve problems. Meanwhile, the people who are actually winning in life understand that morality must be customized to context. The white lie example. Your fixed morality says never lie. Strategic morality asks, will this truth help or hurt everyone involved? The difficult conversation. Your fixed morality says always be direct. Strategic morality asks, is this person ready to hear this truth, or will it create unnecessary conflict? The competitive situation. Your fixed morality says always be fair. Strategic morality asks, if I play fair while others cheat, who really wins? But here's the crucial distinction. A true Machiavellian doesn't abandon morality, he contextualizes it. He holds two truths simultaneously. I will be just when I can afford to be, and I will be ruthless when survival demands it. This is going to be controversial, but comment below. Can you think of a time when being too nice or too honest actually made a situation worse? Let's see how many people have experienced this. Belief number 7, peace is temporary strategy. Here's the final belief that separates the truly dangerous minds from the pretenders. Peace is not the goal, it's a tactic. Most people chase peace like it's the ultimate prize. They want to reach a point where there's no conflict, no competition, no struggle. But Machiavelli understood something that will change how you see your entire life. The game never ends. Power is never permanent. Influence must be maintained every single day. The moment you think you're safe, the moment you get comfortable, the moment you stop watching for threats, that's exactly when someone starts plotting to take everything from you. And I'm about to show you what happens when you truly internalize this belief. But first, you need to understand why most people fail at this. They celebrate too loudly when they win. They rest too long when they're ahead. They get comfortable when they should be getting stronger. A Machiavellian never truly relaxes because he understands every ally could become an enemy. Every victory creates new targets. Every moment of weakness is an opportunity for others. Every piece is just preparation for the next battle. Comment below if you've ever had someone you trusted completely turn against you. Let's see how many people have learned this lesson the hard way. But here's what makes this mindset powerful instead of paranoid. You're not living in fear, you're living in preparation. You're not expecting betrayal, you're ready for it. You're not avoiding conflict, you're choosing when to engage. If you're still with me, you're part of the small percentage of people who can handle psychological truth. Subscribe now, because what I'm about to reveal next will show you what happens when you actually start living by these beliefs. Now that you understand the 7 beliefs, here's what most people don't tell you. Knowledge without application is just entertainment. The real power comes when you start implementing these principles and watching how the world responds to your transformation. The first thing that happens when you start operating from these beliefs is that people notice, but they don't congratulate you. They try to shame you back into your old pattern. They'll say things like, "You've changed, you're different now, you're being cold, why are you acting so distant?" Here's what's really happening. You've disrupted their control mechanisms. You're no longer predictable, no longer easily manipulated, no longer giving them free access to your emotional responses. Comment below, have you ever noticed that when you stop being a people pleaser, people get upset? Let's discuss this phenomenon. Once you stop giving reactions for free, your presence becomes expensive. People can't read you anymore. They can't provoke you. They can't tell if you're angry, if you care, or if you're 3 steps ahead of them. And that uncertainty, that's your new power source. Before transformation, someone insults you, you argue back. Someone ignores you, you chase them. Someone crosses a boundary, you forgive without them earning it. After transformation, someone insults you, you smile and walk away. Someone ignores you, you remove your attention completely. Someone crosses a boundary, they simply lose access to you. Here's a concept that will change everything. Every reaction you give is currency. Before transformation, you were giving this currency away for free. After transformation, people have to earn it. Now that you understand the foundation, let me show you how these beliefs translate into real-world power moves that will make you untouchable. Instead of suppressing emotions, you learn to conduct them like a symphony. Your anger becomes fuel for precision. Your fear becomes motivation for preparation. Your sadness becomes clarity about what needs to change. Let's say someone betrays you. The old you would either explode in anger, giving them proof they got to you, or suppress the pain, missing the lesson. The Machiavellian you feels the full emotion privately, analyzes what the betrayal reveals about them and the situation, uses that information to make better decisions going forward, and responds strategically, not emotionally. Silence becomes your psychological weapon. Not the silence of fear, but the silence of power. You let others fill the void with their own assumptions, projections, and insecurities. Comment about a time when staying quiet gave you more information than speaking up. Let's see how many of you have discovered this accidentally. Most people think power means staying and fighting, but sometimes the most powerful move is to leave, to withdraw your energy, attention, and presence without explanation. This drives people insane because they can't figure out, are you angry? Are you plotting? Did they do something wrong? Will you come back? When you remove yourself strategically, you force others to confront their own dependence on your energy. Here's what happens when the Machiavellian operating system becomes fully integrated into your personality. You stop trying to be strategic, it becomes automatic. You stop pretending to be powerful, you simply are. The final stage of Machiavellian thinking is understanding that true power requires restraint. You become capable of manipulation but choose influence. You become capable of cruelty but choose strategic kindness. You become capable of destruction but choose creation. This is crucial. Power without purpose is just sophisticated self-destruction. A true Machiavellian builds an internal firewall, a set of principles that prevent him from becoming the monster he's capable of being. Here's a deep question for the comments. What's the difference between being strategic and being sociopathic? Let's have a real discussion about this. Once you possess these tools, you have a choice. You can use them to build something meaningful, protect what matters to you, create value for others while advancing your own position, and become the kind of person who can handle real responsibility. Or you can use them to manipulate for petty gains, hurt others for no strategic reason, become isolated by your own coldness, and lose your humanity in pursuit of dominance. The Machiavellian mindset gives you the tools to be dangerous, but wisdom is knowing when to use them and when to put them away. Power is a responsibility, not a toy. The irreversible transformation. If you've made it this far, you're no longer the same person who started watching this video. You can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unknown what you now know. The 7 beliefs have been planted in your mind. Emotions are data, not commands. Power hides in perception. Control the frame, control the game. Connection is a tool, not a crutch. Isolation is reinforcement, not weakness. Morality is movable. Peace is temporary strategy. But here's the question that will determine your future. Will you act on this knowledge, or will you let it fade into another piece of content you consumed and forgot? If you're ready to start implementing these principles, subscribe to this channel, because this is just the beginning. In my next video, I'm going to show you the specific psychological techniques that Machiavelli used to manipulate entire kingdoms and how you can use them in your daily life. Comment below with just one word, transformed, if you feel like your perspective has shifted. Let's see how many of you are ready to step into your power. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Use these tools wisely, build something meaningful, protect what matters, and never forget that the most dangerous weapon you possess is your own mind. The transformation is complete. The question is, what will you do with it? Don't let this knowledge fade. Watch more videos where I reveal the 3 psychological triggers that make people unconsciously obey you.